The weather is frightening. And I don't know. Yep, it's raining again. A while ago, the thunder went boom, 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 right behind one behind the other, like somebody setting off cannons. The whole house, I felt the vibration. So, um, thunder's starting to roll. It's once in a while. I was talking to Christina when it hit one. It sounded like three cannons went off, one right behind the other, and and there's Neil. He hadn't come on yet. Mr. Neil. Hadn't shut up on the room yet. There he is.
Oh, hi, Dean.
Oh, he did.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
There's Christina.
Huh?
There's Christina.
Oh, Christina's out. She... You haven't actually gone live yet, have you?
Yeah, I'm live.
Are you?
Mm-hmm. How's Neil?
Well, I'm a little puzzled here because I'm looking at YouTube and it's still saying everyone's waiting. It's still saying waiting. So we just try again. Oh, yeah. Must have been a different one. Yay! Yeah. Yep, you are alive.
Was there another one?
There was one that was saying notifying and sort of like notify me and notify me and notify me sort of thing, and I kept refreshing it and it didn't show up.
Well, StreamYard was messing up real bad.
Yeah, did you do a second one or cancel that one or something?
I thought I canceled.
Might have been what it was then. I was getting the first one, but not the second one.
Yeah, Christina. Of Neil.
I just hope there's not too many people waiting.
Me too. Well, it's showing I've only got one StreamYard open.
That's my fault. The echo is my fault. Let me get some ears on.
Look at it. Don't you think Neil looks kind of funny, Christina? Ain't got no ear.
Right, it shouldn't be echoing now.
Yeah. Hey, it's gone.
Oh
no, it's still there.
It's still there. It's still there because, for some reason, my audio didn't switch to headphones. That's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't be echoing now. I don't know where everyone else is. There's normally people here by now.
I wonder if it only says I got one tab open.
I'm just wondering if they're confused with the other one like I was.
That's highly possible. I don't know what.
You shrunk us. We're stuck. You stuck us in the corner.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
You've just shared something by the looks of it. I see what you've done. You've changed the format.
I just hit that.
There. You changed the format. You had a third window up.
There wasn't nothing in it.
I know, because you didn't have anything to put in it. You didn't stop it being there.
Well, how do you put something in it?
I suppose you've got to have something to put in it.
I don't even know
You'd have
how. I don't even know how I got up there to start with.
you press this button down here, down the bottom there. When you did that, it was just the layout.
Huh. I was looking for other windows, but I don't have nothing else. According to StreamYard, I don't have no other ones going.
The thing gets me, you've got scenes now. Actually got fixed scenes on the
Huh?
left. On my one on the computer, you've got scenes shown. One is demo 1 and demo 2. Demo 1. Oops,
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, I hit this. I don't know what this demo 2 is.
That's your scene. The scene that you're in. You've got different scenes, so you could have different layouts for different scenes.
Okay.
So if I went to
Hey, Meg.
oh, Meg found us. Oh, by the way, Squeaky, belated happy birthday and commiserations on getting older.
That's bad. She's older than I am now.
Yeah, she must be.
I know if I hit that demo 2 and hold my finger on it. Well, it did a while ago anyway. It ain't doing
What
it
you
now.
want? You're on demo 2. I'm just seeing if I can do anything with it.
It moved.
I can delete demo. I can delete. You can't delete them.
Well, they came up down. It's acting weird tonight.
They've got some new features apparently.
Yeah.
They've actually they've got an image share function now. I don't know how that works, but apparently you can actually share photos without having to do anything special with them. So I'm going to get rid of that demo scene 2. That way you won't get confused with that.
Yeah, it's gone. Now, where'd you go?
Me, I went.
There you go.
You pick the layout.
There you go.
That's what it is. You change the layout again.
Now it says add items.
Yeah, you can add items if you want. I mean, if I look at, let's just have a look at the present. Yeah, now you can actually add an image file. You can actually share a picture, whereas before you had to share a screen. If I wanted to show a picture, I had to show I'd have to open up the picture in an app and then share the image of the app.
Yeah.
Now you can actually share the picture. It took them long enough to do that. You can, I can sharing the video file, not a problem, but sharing the image file, I had to share a screen and open up an app so I could use that screen to show the picture. And now you could just share the picture, which is nice.
Yeah. There's video clips.
I can't think. I can't see why there's so few people here. There's only 4 people here.
Can you hear music?
I can hear music. Where did you get that music?
I don't know.
Oh, it's one of the backgrounds.
Background,
tunes.
yeah, background music. It says up there.
Yeah, background music. I'm waiting for the moment at a time when you can actually add your own.
Yeah.
Big. Well, it'd be handy. I was saying when Brandon tried to share that tune, he had to play it on his phone because he couldn't share it on the computer.
Yeah.
Well, he could have done, but he would have had to open up a music player and then share that music player, share the screen of the music player with sound so that people could hear it.
Mm.
But no one wants to watch the music player. They want to listen to the music. So that's the next one. That's the next thing they're going to have to add is the music share.
Yeah. Meg, did you have a hard time getting here? Oh, there's Tammy. I guess they're starting to find me. If they were
somewhere.
If they were somewhere. I don't know if they were somewhere else or not. I was going to put out that I was going to go on at 7:30. And when I went to hit it, nothing happened. And it went away.
Well, I had a notification and I kept refreshing it because it said that you should be on now. And when I checked and I refreshed it, you weren't there. So I thought, well, I'll come into StreamYard and have a look to see if you're live. StreamYard said you were live. So I came into the studio and then I went back to that other one to see and refreshed it, and it still wasn't there. So I refreshed I closed it and refreshed the whole browser.
Oh, Tammy got
YouTube,
Tammy got to meet Gary and Cassie. There's a Pixie Ranger. I don't have any idea who that is. Do you?
It's someone called Pixie Ranger.
Yeah.
And they've got a wrench.
I didn't give it to them. I didn't give a Pixie Ranger no wrench. Oh.
So that's interesting. You've got an armed stranger in the chat.
Yeah. It's actually somebody changed their name, Neil.
Yeah, it probably is.
Oh, it was.
Oh, she didn't. Tabby didn't get to meet them.
Oh, she was watching one of their videos.
Watching one of their videos.
Okay, I know they were having a meetup somewhere today. I think it was today. In somewhere in Pennsylvania. Oh yeah.
Okay, little Pixie, give us a clue. Who are you?
Well, that big P right there should tell you.
She's a big P.
See the big P on her name there, her picture.
Yeah, that's just a P to say Pixie Ranger. I don't think that's what she actually looks like.
Uh, she went into hiding. Yeah, that's it, Tammy.
Yeah, I'd probably guess it's Peggy.
Yeah, it is. I'll have a
Oh
hard
yeah,
time.
she says it is.
Yeah, I'll have a hard time with that. She changed it a few days ago.
I'm beginning to think that I'm going to have to change my name from Neil, so that I'm not the only Neil on all the chats.
There was a random yeah, them random things happen.
Um,
Oh,
wow. And it picked Pixie Ranger.
huh.
I'd hate to guess what it would pick for me.
Yeah. I'd be scared to let it pick mine.
I couldn't do much worse of a job than my mum and dad did.
There's somebody looking for a farmhand, possibly 1 or 2 days a week. I found me a job.
That's very useful because all you've got to do is send them your hand.
Yeah. I mean, here,
They,
which
they don't
one?
want they don't want all of you, just your hand.
Yeah, it says farmhand. I want the right one, or you need a left one. I mean, which whatever. Hey, Neil, did you see my video about the lady that left the grandbaby in the car?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I think you commented. Uh, it's almost 8 minutes long. If you can,
I, to be
if
quite honest, I don't think I did comment on that one simply because I couldn't think of anything that would not get me banned from YouTube.
a lot of people, you said something. I think I remember your name. I don't remember. It might have been another one you typed and said something. I was looking up. But look, uh, I spent 8 minutes talking to this lady. Let's see here, and I videoed it, but I didn't put it on there on the thing. But if you can listen to this conversation, if you can't understand it, let me know, will you, Neil?
Okay.
Let me see if I can. Well, but I've never personally seen it. But now I have. That's not the one I want.
Yeah, that's from the video.
What did I do with the video? I've heard about this so many times, but I've never personally seen it.
That sounds like from the
Never
video
personally.
you posted.
Yeah, well, that was me talking to y'all about it.
Hmm.
It must be further back. Yeah, here it is. She was off in the store, and I went inside there, and there's nobody in view watching this car. Bye, baby. Yeah. You know, it's not good to leave a child like that out in the car. She was sitting there scared. She spoke to her first, and she was scared. You don't say you don't try. You either get her out and take her in with you, or you either don't go in. I mean, what you just did was very dangerous. You go, what kind of world we live in today? Do you want to be on the news?
Do you want to put me on there?
Huh?
Do you want to put me on there?
I don't want to.
No, I don't want to be on the news. And I've never done this before.
Well, you know, that's the last. That's the last.
I know that's not a good excuse. Right.
Yeah, just don't do it no more.
But
think about it. You don't
just,
want to be standing there with a policeman
just,
and your kid missing.
I just
Or your grandkid. Yeah. But that doesn't.
Before I walked in, and I shouldn't have. I could have just said, "Hey, you go with me," or when I'm not going in. No, I went after her lemonade.
Yeah.
She cries.
But I mean, I stood inside there looking to see if anybody was watching the car.
And I did look.
And I didn't see nobody. There was nobody in vision.
Well,
you know,
I looked around.
You know how many seconds it took me to notice her in there?
Yes.
That's how fast she can disappear.
See how you got me in trouble.
But she's a pretty little girl.
Come on, you buckle up. And that's something else. Sometimes when you buckle up, sometimes I have to wrestle her down to buckle her up.
I said something to her about it when she come out the door. And she spoke to her because she was sitting there scared.
Well,
she got scared.
Are you the one that was putting your groceries in the as I went in?
No.
They
she
was
come
in
out.
the car sitting here when I went in, and they were putting their groceries in the trunk. And whoever that was, they know that I call her the baby. She said, "Nana, please let me sit here and use the."
Visit my children. You come in and that's final because that's your life.
Right.
You know, that's not your life.
Like I say, you don't want to be standing there and your car's sitting there and you're trying to figure out where your baby went.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you, and I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Jacking me up. I really do. Though it hurts my feelings.
But I couldn't even go in and go shopping. I went in and stood there right there at the door.
I saw you in there.
And
I saw you talk to the lady at the.
Yeah, but you were coming to the cash register then.
Yeah. Well, see, I had done looked out twice.
Yeah. But I just
because I went in there, I picked up lemonade. I went over there at that counter and I got those dinner stuff.
What's your name? Oh, that's a pretty name.
But I won't leave her anymore because see, she told me. I ain't gonna tell you what she told me, but she's 5 years old.
Yeah.
But she talks like an adult most of the time. Y'all don't. You would have to talk to her parents, her mother, and she would explain.
Always go in the store with Grandma, okay?
That's right. No matter what, you go in the store.
Yeah.
Now you get buckled up. That's something you need to do too.
Always wear your seatbelt so the policeman won't stop you and write you a ticket. Right. All right.
So the cars can get tied. The other people can wait on me because they scold me like this when they come around me after everybody else is gone and I'm still wrestling with her. When they do come around me, they got smart things to say to me, you know. So I do some. Like this was stupid. I know that. And please don't put me on the news. They won't let me keep her no more.
Well, another thing, the least thing that could happen is what just happened.
Yeah.
Next thing that could happen, somebody called that in while you were in that store, and the police got involved. Then CPS get involved, and a big investigation.
I know. Please don't. I won't never get to keep her anymore, and she's all like that. Well, I got one more. I got a grandson.
Well, protect them like they're the only ones you got. Okay.
No matter what,
you go with Nana, or we don't. We'll just go home without any food.
I see. Look on the back of that white pickup truck parked beside you there. When you go in, that's where it could be. And I'm not going to put it there. Okay. I want to leave this alone.
Please do.
Okay.
But I will not do it again.
We all do things, and as long as we're learning, and it's not working, we all lives.
Yeah.
It was nice to meet you.
Oh.
All of you.
I'm Brenda Malone.
And thank you, sir, for your eyes and
Yeah.
goodwill.
Please don't.
I couldn't live it down if I went in that store and come back out and found out that something had happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I walked away.
I appreciate it.
Huh?
That camera, and even though I was looking out right there,
Understand. I understood. Okay, I'm giving you the benefit that you looked out 3
it
or 4
only
times.
takes seconds.
But that window over there is down enough on that side in the passenger on the back. First of all, the car wasn't locked. Second of all, if that window's down enough to reach in and unlock the door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like I told her, I've heard these stories on the news about cars being stolen with kids in it. Kids being taken from cars. But I'd never seen it. And this way, it wasn't going to happen on my watch.
My daughters growing up, their grandma play in the backyard because when they were younger, right over here on 95, there was a little girl playing outside. And there's a truck driver, and he got her to the truck, and he was trying to pull her in when her sister come running, and she got a hold of her leg and was holding on, and they was screaming, and the neighbors was coming out, and the guy turned her loose. So I should have known better.
Yeah.
I should have known better.
I mean, like I said, you could have done it.
I took
You
her
could
back
end up.
home.
You could end up with so many different things happening.
I didn't even think we should be out today with the storm.
Yeah. But I did see at the after effects. There was somebody driving. Okay. You heard the other part of the story if you watched the thing about the Wisconsin the car that burned. And then I told her about. Well, yeah, I was surprised when it was a grandmother that came out there and not some young girl or young man, you know. I was like, Grandma, seriously? But, I mean, it's 1 out of 1,000, but that any time could be that 1,000. That's the catch. Let's see.
Trouble is, people always think it's never going to happen to them. It'll always happen to someone else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's 1 out of 1,000, but you're probably going to be that 1 out of 1,000.
Yeah. The trouble is when they become that someone else.
Yeah. And I just couldn't. I couldn't believe it. That's right, Tammy. One time's all it takes.
I remember many years ago, my brother used to play football, and I used to go and watch him play. And afterwards, we would go to a local store, a nearby store. And at that time, I used to smoke. So I would wait outside and have a cigarette while he went in to get whatever he wanted. Now, I was waiting outside having a cigarette, and this woman had gone in and left 2 young girls outside. Yeah? All of a sudden, one of the little girls walked up to me and said, "Are you a stranger?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Yes." And then they were both standing there terrified, absolutely terrified. And a little while later, the mum came back out. The mum came back out again, and she went up to the girls, and the girls looked terrified, and they pointed in my direction. And she came up to me and says, "Did you talk to my girls?" I said, "No." They came up to me and said, "Are you a stranger?" And I said, "Yes." Now, it's nice that you've told them not to speak to strangers, but it would help if you told them what a stranger was.
Yeah. That would be a big help, wouldn't it?
It would. You know, it's good that they know they shouldn't be strangers, but that doesn't mean they go up to someone and ask them if they're a stranger first. I could have just as easily said, "No, I'm not."
Well, that was, I mean, I pulled in, and as soon as I pulled in, I looked over, and the windows were tinted in the back, but the window was down quite a bit. And I was like, there's somebody sitting in that car seat. I'm looking in the front, there's nobody in it. I went in, I met that lady in the red car. I don't know if you could hear her or not. She was one of the. She was still sitting in her car when she was talking. But I told her, I said, you driving this car?" And she goes, "No, I'm in that red car." And I said, she goes, "Why?" And I said, "Well, there's a little girl sitting there by herself with the windows rolled down enough for somebody to open the door." And she goes, "Oh, good eye. I can't. What in the world?" And then I went inside the door and looked around. I didn't see. Uh, uh, Hey, Chris, I didn't see nobody at all. And second of all, if you're at the cash register, you can't see outside neither. And I was looking around, and well, the cashier didn't have no customer. And I told her, I said, "Well, I'm one of these people. I'm one of them people." And she goes, "What's that?" I said, "I can't go shopping. There's a little girl sitting in a car here by herself, and I just cannot walk away and just not watch." And she goes, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." And we had this conversation. There's still nobody looking through the window. She wasn't. She might have looked when she walked by on her way around to the cash register, but she wasn't watching the rest of the time. And
But that doesn't make any difference, though. I mean, you still, if you look out the window and you see someone taking your kid,
yeah,
yeah, if they've got a car that's parked right next to it,
yeah,
you're not going to get out there in time to catch them.
exactly. Well, that's what I told her. It don't take but a split second for you not to be looking for the kid to be gone. It's I I mean I ended it there, but there was a little bit more, but it was basically the same thing. And she, what I don't, after I listened, rewatched it, I was like, well, wait a minute. She admits it was a dumb thing to do. She says she tried to blame it on the little girl for being 5 years old and acting more grown up. Uh, and the trouble it was just trying, to argue with her. I said, then you just don't go in. You just don't. You go home. If you don't want to argue with her, if you don't want to make her get out of the car and go in with you, go home. That's all there is to it.
Well, you're the adult.
Yeah. Oh, I could have. Well, I just say I was the bad guy. I pulled up. I saw that little girl. I parked right beside him. It would have took me less than a minute to have that little girl out of that car. Even if the doors had been locked, I could have had her out of that car in under a minute and gone.
Well, especially if you decided to park the car illegally right next to it,
Yeah,
blocking the view.
yeah. I'm like, and I just couldn't go on and do my shopping. I had to go. I went back outside, and
I'm
when
sorry,
I
this sounds like I'm actually planning one.
hey, look, I got a criminal mind because I try to think of what the situation,
I always
would,
try and look for problems.
what it could be, and
Unfortunately, I have a bad habit of finding them.
you know, that's kind of it's kind of like being at war, and you want to make sure you got all your ground covered, but so nobody comes up behind you.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm like, no, man, I just couldn't. I went back out, and the lady in the red car was talking across the car seat to her, across her passenger out through to her, and I said, "Are you talking to her?" She goes, "Yeah." She's sitting there like she was scared, and I asked her, I said, "Are you scared?" She says, shook her head, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, we're not going nowhere. We're going to stay right here. You'll be fine. We're going to stay here till somebody comes out, okay?" And she shook her head, "Yeah." And said thanks. And then she started talking to us, and so we stood there and talked to her. And I kept looking at the door for somebody to come out. And but I did see her walking down the aisle that went around to go to check out when I went back out the door. But she ended up in line at the checkout. Some other people had got in front of her because that's why I started walking back out. The cashier had customers started walking up, And I said, I'll be out here. So, yeah, wasn't no way I just couldn't do it. I had to stand there
That's
and
just it,
wait.
though. If a kid can pretend to be an adult, to do things that they've seen adults do, yeah, that's not behaving like an adult. That is just mimicking an adult.
Yeah.
It's not being more grown up.
And I watched the video, and she told the little girl, this all happened in real life, when she said, "Yeah, you go in with me. You always go in the store with me, or we just don't get no food."
Hey, good news, Dean. I've just got a notification. You've just gone live.
Huh?
I've just got a notification saying you're live.
What in the world?
It's just a late notification, simple as that. That's how these notifications work these days.
Yeah, it was like 7:49 when I went live.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it was earlier today or yesterday.
That's
Brandon
20 minutes
went
ago.
live. Brandon went live, and I got a notification just in time for it to end. I got there, after it had finished. It only managed about 6 minutes before he got cut off.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's got a whole ocean to cross. It doesn't matter.
Whoever's doing the rowing
YouTube
on the
doesn't
rowboat,
notify.
whoever's doing the
No.
rowboat, it just ain't getting there fast enough, Neil.
No. See, basically, YouTube works a bit like a government department. It'll get around to you eventually, but when it feels like it.
And who's that on the other side? That's Neil. Unless he changes his name, then it'll be.
Well, let's just say I wasn't expecting to be on the actual live feed side of things. So there's a very good reason why my camera isn't showing.
Do you hear the thunder?
I thought that was your stomach rumbling.
Yeah, boy. Earlier, a little bit ago, but it's about just before I went live. It was like three sonic booms, boom, 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 one right behind the other, like cannons going off. I was like, okay. The vibration flowed through the house, the feel of it.
I like a good storm. The trouble is, we've got that big ring road that goes all the way around London called the M25, and it seems to, if you look at the radar, the radar images of weather coming in, it's almost like that M25, the heat from that M25 acts like a force field, and the weather just seems to go round.
Chris, she likes your accent. You like a Polish accent? Neil's gonna throw something at me now.
You like my accent? You can have it if you want.
Yeah. I like it. I like everybody's accent in that part of the
I
world.
am just as silly on the live chat as I am in the actual chat.
He's in the UK.
Mm.
He's across the water.
It's 20:15.
It took 20 minutes for a rowboat to get the notification to him that we were live. But he was here before the notification.
Dean was one better than that. He managed to go live before YouTube went live.
Yeah. Don't tell me I'm late. I was 20 minutes early.
He was waiting for YouTube to catch up. That was.
I agree with you, Tammy.
you say UK is your favourite, but you know, in the UK, you can go less than 30 miles and come across a completely different accent.
Well, that
There's
might
so
be
many
true.
different
Neil.
accents in this country.
That might be true, but most of them sound like you.
It's only because you don't know what you're listening to. I mean, it's like me saying that all Americans sound the same. It's not true.
Oh, now she's
It's
right.
like someone saying, you know, there's a stereotypical American accent, and unfortunately, it tends to be a bit more like a yokel or something like that. It's some sort of like, you know,
Yeah, but I can tell most. I mean, even the people that sound from up north, I can tell you they're from the U.S. You know, uh, even though I can tell their accent's different.
yeah. But I mean, someone from Birmingham is sort of like a Birmingham accent. They don't talk; they sing.
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't know the music, you're knackered. You haven't got a chance. You know?
How are you
If you don't know the
today?
song,
Good
you know, it's one of
evening.
those accents. It's one of those accents that are sort of like, if you know, you've got to be able to follow it. Geordie accents, you know. We've got a few Geordies out there that have got what they call a TV Geordie accent. In other words, they've toned down the Geordie accent so that people can understand what they're saying on TV. There's just so many accents in the UK, and you don't have to go far to get a different one.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to here really neither. But
Well, I mean, I'm talking. I'm in South London.
yeah,
If you went to, if you went about 10 miles northeast, you come to Essex,
yeah,
which have got a really weird sort of. I call it a thick. I call it a thick accent. Not because it's a very strong accent, but because they sound thick.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like somebody in New Jersey got on here and starts talking. Most of them talk faster than I do. When I talk fast, they talk faster than I do. All right, hold it. Wait a minute. Tell me that again.
Well, see, the thing is, I don't have a typical South London accent.
Mm.
You know, a typical South London accent is something like that.
Now I'll tell you another one I really like. I don't know if it's so much the accent or it is the way just the words they use, and that's Australia. You know,
I like the
howdy mate,
Australian accent. I
howdy
absolutely love the
mate.
Australian accent.
Yeah,
Well, that's just it. I use the word mate over there. You all right, mate? You
yeah.
a friend of mine is actually a he's a fairly popular UK actor, and he's done a load of films and some big films as well. He was actually in Cliffhanger. He's in the movie Cliffhanger, and he's been on some US TV as well. But you know, he's a true Cockney, a proper Cockney, a real East Ender. You know, and he comes out. You know, it's not just their accent. He's not just. It's not just what he's putting on for the TV shows. He's not just putting it on for the TV shows. That's what he actually talks like.
Uh, well, I
You
noticed
know,
some like even some British people that's on TV. You would never know that that's where they were from. But if you talk to them in person, you can be going like, voice don't sound nothing like it does on TV.
you know, that's one of the things is I like to try and work out some accents where people are actually from. The trouble is, you know, you've got someone living in Ireland who's from Australia but had Scottish parents, what are you going to get? You're going to get a bit of a mix. I've got a bit of a mix simply because I've got a fairly black way of talking, and some of my teachers, I had teachers from all over the UK, you know, so
Yeah.
I picked up a quite a mix,
Yeah.
and this is what I've ended up with.
Well, that's not. I guess basically, probably got the same problem because people tell me sometimes when I get sincere, my Virginia accent comes out, and I'm like, huh?
I remember at school there was one time that I used to get told off because I was using Cockney rhyming slang, because the people I hung about with were EastEnders and things like that. You know, when I was growing up, you still had the big gangs had just disappeared. You know, the Cray twins, they just they were all locked up, and the Robinsons from the south, they were you know, there was a lot going on around the time when I was little, and I actually went to school with a couple of the family members of some of these kids, and they were real tough nuts, and they had the real tough accents and things like that. And one of the things that they used to do was they used to use slang a lot, and proper Cockney rhyming slang a lot. So I picked up a lot of it. And I'd be at school and I'd be using the Cockney rhyming slang, and I get told off by the teachers, "They learn to speak English." You know,
Well,
it's English. It's just rearranged.
I knew a guy. I knew a guy that went to Australia under contract and stayed for, I think, like over a year and a half or something like that. And when he come back, he didn't sound the same at all. I mean, man, you were over there too long.
I tell you, if you go to Scotland,
Melinda.
The difference between a Scottish accent, a Glaswegian accent, and an Edinburgh accent, and a Highland accent, I mean, you're talking about 30, 40 miles apart at the most, and they're completely different accents. And then you come slightly further south, you come to Geordie land with the Geordie accent, and it's sort of like, that's another completely different accent. There's just so many accents in such a small area. I mean, you've got to bear in mind that the UK, the whole of the UK could fit into Texas. So if you can imagine Texas with something like 30, 40 different accents.
Yeah. Well, you know, I traveled so much in every state that a lot of them I didn't notice it. I got used to it. But every once in a while you'd run across that one, you know, that okay. You can tell you're not from around here, you're not from around there. How long you lived here?
But that's just it. It's for instance, I've noticed when I'm in the Eddie's chat the other night, I noticed that, you know, I was actually typing in a Southern American, you know, a Southern US accent. You know, I was typing like I was talking in a Southern US accent.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to tell you right now. The spell check, the new systems are the old system was better than the new system because there's a lot of mistakes and stuff that it changes it changes stuff when I type it or when I speak it, either one. It changes it. And I'm like, okay, I didn't say that. That's not what I typed. That's not what I said.
I've told Eric several times, you know, you've got to learn to speak Siri.
But I said something the other day. I used the speech thing, and I looked at it, and I'm like, okay, it's good. And I hit the button, and when I looked at it again, it looked like I was mumbling something crazy out of my head. I was like, okay, that's not what I said, and that's not the word I used, and that don't make no sense at all. But it's there now. It used to I'd let
I,
something go. Used to I'd let something go when I saw it, a word or something. If even if it didn't fit, because I'm going, oh, they'll figure that out. But some sentences are like crazy. I'm like, there's no way nobody has any idea what I just typed.
well, that's another thing that gets me is because I can type fairly quickly, but one thing I've noticed more frequently, more recently, is I could be typing a word, and then I look at what I've typed. All the letters are there, but not in the right order.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I've just typed an anagram, you know,
But
and I
what's
have to
I mean, how it
rearrange letters.
changes? How's it changed the word completely? On
Oh,
it,
it's easy.
even when you
And that's
type it
what
in and you look
that's
at it,
why
Neil, you look
I
at it
call
and
it
see it
auto.
says,
That's why I call it autocorrect.
yeah,
Correct. I call it autocorrect.
yeah, it's corrupt, all right.
It's worrying because there could be some words that would be really sort of like, you know, get you into serious trouble. If it mishears you and puts up the wrong word, you could end up in real serious trouble.
Yeah. Uh, well, I was talking to my sweetheart, and I one.
I mean, perfect example is if I was talking about one of the file formats that they use for Adobe Acrobat, which is a PDF file. Now, if you say that quickly, what
Yeah,
exactly would Siri come up with on the screen? It's a PDF file. You say that quickly, and Siri could get you into serious trouble.
I say truck.
Yeah.
Ain't that right? But I sent my sweetheart a message, and I looked at it. I sent it, and a few minutes later, I get this noise, and I'm like, "Oh, she's answering me." Uh, and all I get is laughter. She's just laughing, and I'm like, "Well, what's so funny?" About the question I asked her, and she says, go back and look." And I went back and looked, and I said, "I didn't say that." She goes, "I know you don't talk that way. You don't use." That's what's so funny about it. I'm like, okay.
Well, I use WhatsApp quite a bit because it's fairly convenient for if someone's in a different country. And a friend of mine has got a really, really bad habit. What you can do on WhatsApp is you can either text, or you can make a phone call, or you can speak and leave a voice message on the screen. And he always talks and leaves a voice message. Now, you don't know what that message says. If you're sitting on a bus, you can't check to see what that message says in
Yeah.
case it says something really nasty. You know, I've told him, either phone me. If you want to talk, phone me. If you don't want to talk, type. Because I cannot respond to a message like that if I can't play it out loud.
Yeah. Did anybody guess what Meg's little project was?
Yes,
I
she's
did.
making a pile of wood.
I was the first one that got it right. It only
Well,
made
it
sense.
looks like some sort of a bedside cabinet, but I mean, why would she need one of them? So
No,
precise.
I'll tell you what told me what it was. It was two things that put together, and that was the measurements. The second one was the board that she put across the top on the back. And she said it belonged lower. I was like, and that's all that goes on the back of it. That's going to be a sink cabinet. And she goes, and she went ding 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 ding. Somebody got it. Got a winner.
Well, it's a bit low, isn't it? It's you know, it'd be one of those you could go on your knees and use.
It's just a sink. It's a cap. Just all that goes on top of it is just a little sink. No, it's about right.
Oh, Squeaky's got a project to keep goats out to the dogs feed.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that what the dogs are for?
Yeah, the
I mean,
dogs got to learn.
you look at Toby on the Eddie's farm. You know, any of the goats go anywhere near his feed, and he growls and barks at them.
Yep. They got to learn to take up with themselves.
Yeah. I think she's going to put a security gate on it, and the dog's got to learn a special code to get in.
She wants to know
That's what it is.
what's a wooden thing.
It's a wooden thing.
Her
A
wooden
wooden thing is a thing made of wood.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Every animal needs to learn to take up for their own spot.
Yeah, I mean, the dog's supposed to be the tough guy.
Yeah.
I mean, if he can't deal with the other goat, if he can't deal with the goats, then what chances he got against another predator or something?
Yeah. He run behind and hide behind the goat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see what happened to the Eddie's Wi-Fi tower?
Oh yeah. 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 I told him he
Do you
needs
know one
to.
thing that got me with that? One thing that got me with that was where I saw him climbing up, tying a cable on. Yeah. And I was thinking, all he's got to do is go up one more step and then add extra weight to it. And it's going over.
He could have, but he
when
could have
he
just.
tied the cable on, when he tied the cable on and started heaving on this cable, I thought, you've got a tractor. Why aren't you using the tractor to pull the tower?
Well, I'm going to tell you, Neil. That still, I told him he needs to go ahead and. All three of them were bent. I think all three of them are bent.
It wasn't
He
just
needs-
all three of those. You look at the cross struts and that sort of thing. They're
Yeah,
all
he needs to
twisted
put
and
the.
mangled.
He needs to do the same thing that he welded on that one. He needs to do it on all three of them.
Definitely, and possibly weld an extra piece across,
Yeah,
just to you know,
yeah,
just to give it that bit of extra stability,
yeah,
a little bit of extra strength. Because as they are with those cross members, they can still twist.
yeah. When
Those cross members are supposed to stop it from twisting.
yeah, back when it got bent originally, I thought I was like, oh, they need to add some support to them. Well,
I actually thought that thing that he put round it was actually designed to give it extra support, but it
no,
turns out it was just there to hide it.
Yeah, it was just to hide it. That just wrapped around the whole thing. That didn't do nothing for either one of the legs.
I mean, the welding should make a huge difference, but he's going to definitely need to do something a little bit more to it than that because, like I say, I mean, as you said, the other two legs could do with it as well. It's only a temporary fix, as he said, but
Yeah, but that'll
until
work. But I
he
would have
wants to
went
get a
further.
prop, he
I
wants
would
to
have
get a
went further
professional
up.
welder in to do it.
I'd have went further up. I'd have welded further. He went from the ground up to like about that much above the cut where it broke
Yeah,
at. I would have added more support higher up onto the bottom part.
yeah. But I mean, the way the cross struts are also bent and kinked and that sort of thing, it's sort of like that's a little bit concerning as well because
Well,
they're there. Their job is to stop them twisting.
yeah. Well, if he does all three of them, and then welds cross from the one of the welds that he uses on it to the other one and make a crisscross, he'd be
Yeah,
doing. He would make up for the difference for that too.
yeah. That'll give it extra strength. But I mean, this was an emergency fix. This
Yeah,
wasn't a permanent fix.
yeah, because it would have it
It
would
was
have
to stop it
probably
from falling
failed.
over.
Yeah, it would have
It
probably
was
failed if the wind blowed anymore.
the next blade, yeah. But I still think he should have used a tractor to actually pull it straight because then the tractor could have held it exactly where he wanted it. He could have used the tractor to get it exactly where he wanted it. And instead of having Stephanie hanging onto the cable to try and hold it in place.
Here, swing on this, honey. Yeah.
I mean, considering the way they did it, they did a good, it was a good job. It was a good emergency fix, you know. But like I say, he's saying he wants to get a proper welder and a professional
Yeah.
to get it done properly, so it
Uh,
stands a chance.
yeah. And if he could get an L shape metal about something thick,
Who's Neil Christopher?
new Christopher.
Neil Christopher, yeah. Squeaky
I
says Neil Christopher says hello.
I missed it.
It's this one right. This
Oh,
one
it
right
says
here.
Neil
Yeah,
Christopher.
Neil Christopher. Neil
Neil
Christopher says
Christopher.
hello.
Yeah. I guess he changed his name.
Yeah. I did say I wanted someone else to have call themselves Neil. Say hi to Freaky for me. That's what got me in one of those in one of her videos the other day, where she turned around and they was on the island, and one of the guys on the island turned around to McKellar and said, "Oh, what's your name again?" And she
Yeah.
said, "McKellar." I said, "She got that wrong. She got that wrong. It's Cheeky. Her name is Cheeky."
Hey, Sue. I think you're far enough south. You might be okay.
I know that, Melinda. I'm not stupid. I just acted.
He just made her a train.
And Cheeky said hello too. That's nice.
Oh,
See, that's just it. With an autistic mind, I've got a literal mind, and it, yeah. Even though I know what they actually mean, I see what's written. And it said Neil Christopher.
yeah. Well, up in the northern central part of Alabama's been getting hit for a while now, Peggy.
Mm. That's weird because I don't know what it is about Alabama, but I always call it Alibaba.
Alabama.
You know, like Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. You know.
Yeah. So she got confused for a minute.
Only a
Oh,
minute. I'm
only a
sure we can
minute.
manage longer than that.
Neil, you only kept her confused for a minute. You're slipping, buddy.
No, we can do better than that.
Oh man. Yeah, well, I mean, we probably got close to an inch and a half of rain last night and this morning. Early this morning, boy, it turned daylight when it was dark. We had some thunder and lightning going on here.
Well, it's a bit horrible at my place at the moment where it's crazy that there's a little bit of a leak in the roof over. I live on a little extension out the back of the building, and just a, just above my bathroom, the roof there has got a bit of a leak, and it leaks into the shower. So when the water comes through, it goes into the shower. Now, the only way to get to that roof is to go through my neighbour's upstairs flat, my upstairs neighbour's flat, and out their window onto the roof. The bloke who's supposed to be fixing the roof can't set up a time to go and do it that matches and suits the person whose flat it is. Which means that if I want to go and have a shower, the first thing I have to do is check the weather radar to see if it's raining. If it's raining, I can't have a shower.
Hey, Peg, that's just below. That's just below Birmingham there. Probably about. That's in between. Fact, where Sue's at in Birmingham, it's somewhere in between there, closer to Birmingham.
I can't believe the damage that happened on the Eddie's farm where first of all that chicken coop where the roof was actually screwed down pretty well.
Yeah, well, we didn't
The
do
corner
something.
got blown up.
I
But the
had
other
metal,
day,
that tin
yeah,
flying through the air.
but a couple of days ago on Steph's video, you see the roof the overhang from
Yeah,
the barn flapping around like crazy, and I'm thinking the wind's going to take that, and it's perfectly safe. It's nothing wrong with it. You know, it survived perfectly well.
yeah, yeah. Tell me, we hit it, the thunder and lightning was real bad here about 6 o'clock this morning too.
Now, who was it? They covered the roof, and then they had enough hanging up, enough left up. I think it was the grounds, when they put that roof on your holiday home, where it overlapped, and they instead of cutting it off, it might have been Brandon actually, where he just folded the side over and nailed it down
Yeah, yeah,
to save trimming it off. And
yeah.
I thought that's a good idea because it actually adds strength to the weak areas.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't know if there's enough on there on those for him to be able to do that to those ones, but it seems like a really good idea. It worked. It will work. It give those roots a bit more strength.
Yeah. Melinda's got you.
Little feet crossed, sitting down. Oh, right. Where? I like that in one of Squeaky's videos where she turned around and told me to grab a brush, and I put in the comments, okay, I'll grab the brush. Who do you want me to give it to?
I got it. All right, they want to know what kind of Velcro you're using, Neil.
Very strong. I tried suction cups, but they they weren't so effective.
Is that what you wanted that plunger for? Oh boy. I was
There's
wondering
actually,
what.
have you ever heard of gecko tape?
The what?
Have you ever heard of gecko tape?
I don't think so.
It is absolutely amazing. It's really expensive, but what you do is you put it on the wall and you can hang things on it, and it grips like crazy. It's incredibly strong. But if you then lift it, it comes straight off the wall, no problem.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we call it something else, Neil. I believe, or there might be another name for it.
They call it gecko tape simply because that's the way a gecko's feet work. That's why it can walk up a tree or something like that.
Yeah, I can't tell you the name of it, but there's stuff you put it on the wall and then stick something to it, and when you want to take it off, you don't mess up the wall. You just peel it off.
Oh yeah, you're thinking of the command strips.
Yeah,
They're one shot use things. This gecko tape, you can use it over and over again, and it will stick to glass. It will stick to almost anything.
Oh really? Over and over. Huh?
Over and over. It literally doesn't stick. It's not sticky. That's the thing with it. It's not sticky. It just grips.
Huh. How much weight does it hold?
It can hold quite a lot. I think the demonstration when I saw it on a video a few years ago, it was they put a 1 kilo weight. They hung a 1 kilo weight from it, and the square that they used was only about 4 inches by 4 inches, and it held a 1 kilo weight with no problem.
Huh? No, he says it's not sticky.
No, it's not sticky tape. It's not sticky. It's literally, you could use it over and over and over, time and time again. You want to stick something on the wall, you put it on the wall, stays there. Stick it on a mirror, stays there. You want to move it, just all you have to do is pull upwards on it, and it just lifts straight off. It's really weird stuff, but it works the same way as a gecko's feet, how a gecko gets its grip when it climbs things. That's why a gecko can go on a shiny surface and climb it.
Christina, you should get the little dinghy and use it to pull behind the boat. That'd be a much easier way to row in than get somebody to pull you in.
And get a little dinghy to it, yeah. You'll have Christopher sort of like water skiing on the back of it. Apparently, Melinda, that stuff is really expensive.
Kid on the wall.
And I haven't, to be quite honest, I haven't seen it anywhere. Nanotape? They might have called it nanotape. They might have called it nanotape now. Or it might just be a different brand. At the time, it was just called gecko tape because it was a new thing. And it was just a demonstration. It wasn't actually, on the market or anything. But it was just being demonstrated.
One goat hanging on the wall. Hey,
why would you want to put the goat on the wall?
She could get some of that sticky stuff,
It'll
put
make
it on
it'll
the
make a mess of the carpet.
put it on the put it on the side of the goat and stick it to her tree while she catches some other ones that's running loose. You know, just here that one won't get away no more. Brilliant idea.
It's
Well,
like
we're
planning
fixing that.
bushwhacker.
We should be at any time now having a bunch of baby rabbits.
What, you personally, or
We got three. We should have three rabbits having babies. So there might be somewhere around 20 baby rabbits here in a few days. You wouldn't lose them. Yeah, the baby goats would be right there on the tree.
I think goats should come with removable horns, so when they get their head stuck through the fences, you could just undo the horns, put them back on again once they get out.
Well, I wonder what the weather's like, other than outside the door.
There's a lot of it about. I don't mind being under the weather, just so long as it's sunny and warm.
Ooh.
Yep, that's weather.
Hear that thunder?
I think I did that time, yeah. I love a good thunderstorm. I really do.
Oh, I did too.
I just don't get them. It's really annoying because I look at the radar and I see thunderstorms creeping in and they've got past the M25 and they're heading up towards me, and then all of a sudden one goes off one side and the other goes off the other, and I miss both of them. Well, there are cures for cancer. There are cures for cancer. That's just it. Some cancers can be cured. The trouble is, when they say that there's no cure for cancer, what they mean is not all cancers are cured yet.
Yeah. Yes.
And the same with heart disease. There are some cures for heart disease. Well, not necessarily cures, but solutions. One thing they can't do is if you get brain damage, you can possibly retrain other parts of the brain, but you can't repair a brain. It's, once it's damaged, it's damaged.
Let's see. Yeah, that's coming right up on us. Oh, it's coming from the south up. South Alabama might be in trouble, but it's further west in Dothan.
Well, if it's South Alabama, then
It's further
Yeah.
west than it's a little further west the most part. Greenville,
Eric should be all right.
Alabama.
Eric should be all right then.
Looks like Troy wouldn't be getting nothing. That's over in Georgia. Dothan down there's they're probably not getting much of anything. Unless they might be getting some rain off of it. Nothing the radar's picking up anyway.
Well, when I was younger, I used to go up to Blackheath and crouch down during a thunderstorm. You don't want to be the highest thing in a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
So I used to crouch down, People make a mistake and lie down. You lay down, expect to get shocked.
Yeah, they used to say in tornadoes to lay down in a ditch or something if you out somewhere outside and have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And up in Iowa, they had a tornado one time, and this woman and her husband pulled their car over because they were right in the middle of one coming across, and they jumped in a ditch, and a crane was caught by the tornado and landed on the ditch on top of them.
That's what they call Sod's Law.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, yeah,
that's just it. You know, I mean, sometimes they say don't try and outrun it in a car. Well, you know, depends how fast the storm's moving and in what direction.
yeah. Now, I like a good thunderstorm too, Tammy. I remember, but they don't have them like they used to when I was a kid. They,
Oh,
it
they were
don't.
better. I bet they were better when you were a kid, were they? They don't
I
make
mean,
them like they used to.
they don't. I mean, I don't know if it's because I think a lot of it is because as a kid there wasn't a light on nowhere anywhere around the house. There wasn't no street light nowhere, no porch light nowhere, no nothing. You could sit out there, and the lightning would make the prettiest designs across the sky.
I do
But now,
that whenever we get a storm here. If we get a thunderstorm that does get round here, the first thing that happens is the lights go off, the TV goes off. I get it as dark as possible, have the windows open so I can hear the thunder properly, and I'll just sit there and see about as much of the sky as I can possibly see. You know, they may be dangerous, they may be nasty, but they are beautiful.
look at that. Melinda's going to have almost 90-degree weather.
Windy all week.
Can you imagine? I should
See,
have.
that's why the storms you have over there are bigger than the ones we have over here, because you have such huge swings in temperature.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what causes the storms. It's the difference in temperature that causes the storms.
Yeah.
We don't have
Yeah.
those big swings.
Well, that's what I'm worried about. I mean, the chance of tornadoes is pretty good when you got this warm temperature before the storm and right on into it.
Idea alert! Idea alert! Squeaky has got an idea.
All right, we've got to get off here real quick.
That's dangerous.
She's got an idea.
That's dangerous. That's worse than the worst lightning storm, that is. She wants to know when you.
Oh,
Okay.
be the end of the month. The first one should start about the 29th. And that guinea egg will be another, if it hatches, it'll be another week.
Any eggs I have hatched straight into the frying pan. Well before they're born.
I've got some over here on the counter. This back counter.
Okay, so what's the idea?
But they grow up so fast.
Baby goats and chickens and rabbits. So what's the idea?
Sound like a good dinner. Sound like a good dinner to me if you take the baby part out.
Baby goats, chickens and rabbits.
You know,
That's
a
a
bit.
barbecue in itself, isn't it? That's, you've got a
That's what
barbecue
I'm.
going
That's
there.
what I'm thinking. I mean, there'd be if we did the babies, it'd be a chicken nuggets, rabbit nuggets, and a goat nuggets because they'd be all so small. Yeah, I think I
Give us
got.
a clue. Give us a clue what the idea is.
I think I got.
I said she's got an idea, and so far she's listed 4 ingredients. Photos with baby goats, chickens, and rabbits.
Well,
That sounds like a good idea. Fairly short term, but it's a good idea. You'd have to, get fresh ones all the time as they get bigger.
yeah, you can't say that no more, Christine. I got an idea. That's against YouTube policies.
Oh, you're not allowed to have. I'm not allowed to have ideas on YouTube, especially
Oh,
some of the ideas I have. Easter photos.
yeah.
Oh, if the chicks are going to be born by the end of the month, that gives you 2 weeks before Easter.
Yeah, but they'll still be under a heat lamp then.
There you go. Toasted chicks.
We call them pop-up chicks. Put them in a toaster.
Chick sticks. Yeah.
Uh,
No, to be quite honest though, I think it's a shock actually of she came up with a good idea. I think the shock of her coming up with a good idea phased me, confused me a little bit for a while.
oh me. Well, that's
How do you know it's not freaky just standing behind something going, "Peep, peep"?
she's saying those words again. I just told you, YouTube has a policy about those words.
Squeaky says she always has good ideas.
I have to go to YouTube and put they're over there on the big computer where
So
I can
why do
put
you
in.
always share the bad ones?
Where over there where you can put the words you don't want to appear on screen that blocked. Good ideas would be ideas would be. I can see her then trying to put it in there and it won't work. uh,
Oh dear, you're going to need to have a week off to recover from that. I've been thinking, she says.
oh boy, that's painful too.
Mind you, I've got to admit, her ideas are a lot safer than Freaky's ideas. He has some really crazy ideas.
uh, got the legs on there now. That thing's growing right in front of us. She's talking to us and the cabinet's growing.
Those Ryobi batteries charge quite quickly, actually. I used to have a whole set of Ryobi tools until my friend. I was building her a shed out on. She had a large sort of not a balcony, but it's a large area outside above a parking garage. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she wanted to put a shed there, a small shed there. So I started building her this shed, and I didn't want to keep dragging my tools backwards and forwards from my place to her place. So what I did was I left them under a tarpaulin in the corner, out the
Good
way.
night. Good night, Melinda. God bless.
And what she did was one day she sort of like, well, she doesn't want the shed there. It's not finished yet. I don't want it there anyway. It was in that place because I could get to all round it. You know, where she wanted it, I couldn't get all round the outside. And so she decided to move it. But my tools were in the way. So she moved my tools and put all my power tools into buckets. And didn't bother to cover them up. So next time I come round there to do some jobs, I found that all my Ryobi tools had learned to swim. That was the last job I did for her. You know?
Oh boy.
She said she would replace them, and I told her how much they would cost to replace, and she said, "Oh, I'm not paying that." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, you didn't pay it." I said, "It doesn't matter how much I paid for them. I know I got a good deal on them. It doesn't matter how much I paid for them. It's how much it costs to replace them."
Yeah.
I never come back.
Yeah. Everything nowadays, though, if something happens to something to replace it, costs more
Yeah,
than what it was. That's just the way life is.
yeah. It's going to cost more. I got them at a discount. You know, there's on special offer.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of expensive tools. In fact, I've got on my Instagram, you know, there's a picture of one of the projects I was doing with a box with a tool case and everything, with all the tools. You know, they're good value for money. They're not expensive tools, but they're not the bargain bucket ones either.
But
So,
she
you
wasn't
know,
replacing it.
it's a good choice. She never did replace them. She never did replace them. She wanted to buy me one of these bargain bucket drills. And I thought, no way. It's £140 to replace that one tool. And you want to replace it with something that costs 20.
Hey, sound good to her?
Yeah, it did sound good to her. She used to complain. She's saying, I've done you so many favours. Look, you've cost me this much money. And I said, what do you mean cost you this much money? How about you do a little tote up and see how much I've saved you? She couldn't see it that way. You know. I mean, she's moved away now, so she's well out of range, which is good. Because I like doing things for people, and it was hard to say no. Simply because I like doing things for people, you know. She asked me to tile her floor. She asked me to tile a floor. Now, the floor that she asked me to tile was kitchen floor and a hallway. That was, well, it started off with just the kitchen. And she was so pleased with the way the kitchen was going that she said, oh, could you do the hallway? And then after the hallway, she said, well, it'd be silly not to do the bathroom on the bathroom. And she said, well, the house looks a bit unbalanced now, so could you do the upstairs? I did 1,600 square foot of floor tiles by the time I finished.
Well, you're doing such a good job. Why don't you just keep going?
Yeah, I discovered that the best way to stop people from asking you to do stuff is to do a bad job. And I don't ask you anymore.
Yeah.
I can't do a bad job. I can't, you know, if I can't do it right, I don't want to do it.
Well, I don't know. I might. I've been in situations where what I agreed on wasn't what I was getting, but I was already obligated to it, and I was like, I shouldn't make them sit and wait a day, you know. But I just couldn't. I couldn't do that. I go ahead and get it over with. Didn't come out like it's supposed to, but let's get it past us and do it right, and so be it. If nothing else, it made them feel bad.
I've just checked my Instagram. I've just checked my Instagram, and all my pictures have gone. There's none there no more.
Poof.
Yep, they've all gone. Let's have a look in the archive. Nothing.
That's right, Tim.
Well, there's only 4 pictures there, but you know they're all gone.
Huh. You must hit the wrong button.
I don't know. But there were pictures of my tool case and the tools and one of the projects that I built, which was basically a U-shaped cabinet area for underneath the TV. So it's all the game stuff and that sort of thing, and it was all mirrored as well. It's something I built from scratch, literally bits of wood and board, and that was it.
Hey Neil, I got a way to cure the problem, or if they don't cure it, to make more money. When they say, "Well, that looks so good, why don't you go ahead and do that part, do that over there too?" You go, "Oh, okay, that yeah, no problem, but that'll cost you just as much as this part did, or more. You know, like the hallway. That's that'd be double the price because to do that."
Yeah, I don't mind doing all these bits and pieces, but I'll have to charge you extra for the screws.
Yeah. And then they'll be going, well, maybe I don't want to really do that part. Okay, let's take care of this and get out.
I charge the batteries at home, so I'll have to charge you for the electricity as well. Yes, there's someone said to me that you're good at do-it-yourself, DIY. You're good at DIY. I said, yes, I'm very good at it. These days, it's changed slightly, you know? They say, someone says to me, you're good at DIY. I say, yes. Someone says to me, do it. Can you do this for me? I say, do it yourself.
Yeah. The more they ask, the more the price goes up. That way to make more, you double them. Keep doubling your
I
money.
literally did a whole house. I replaced the banisters on one part, and she had that house I was working on that time it had the weirdest electrics. I'd never seen electrics like it. There was a light upstairs on the landing, and I wanted to try and fit a different one in that place. So I went to the fuse box and I pulled the fuse, and all the lights went out upstairs went out except for that one. So I thought, okay, so I put the fuse back in and I pulled the other fuse, and all the lights on the ground floor went out, but that light was still on. So I thought, well, where's this light getting its electric from? And so
Had to be another fuse somewhere.
I worked my way through every single fuse one at a time, and the light stayed on. But it was only when I took both fuses out for both light circuits that the light went out. So somehow that one light was getting power from both circuits.
Huh.
Now that's impossible. It's impossible because if that light was getting power from both circuits, then every single light on that circuit would be getting power from that circuit. it's impossible. It can't happen.
I
I
I
never did work it out, but I sort of like from that point onwards, I said I'm not doing any more electrical work in this place. I refuse.
oh yeah. I don't know a whole lot about electricity. I have to call my daughter.
Well, I mean that was funny because I used to do electrics all the time, you know, and I was getting fed up with getting electric shocks because here's the problem. I like the old fuses, the old-fashioned cartridge fuses where you unplug them and you put the fuse in your pocket when you go off and do a job, so no one can put that fuse back in. Now they've got trip switches. They've got switches. So
I hear you.
you turn a switch off to go and do something, and next thing you know, someone's thought, oh, my light's not working. Oh, the switch is off. Click. Now all of a sudden there's crackling and bangs from where I'm working, you know? And I was getting fed up with getting electric shocks, so I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll go into electronics instead. I'll learn electronics. And I thought, what I'll do is I'll do a TV repair course, you know, because you're talking sort of like low voltage and low currents and things like that. Yeah, I went for the TV course and I found out that in the back of that TV that I was about to service was 20,000 volts.
Wow.
You know? And I thought, okay,
Yeah.
maybe I should go back to electrics.
Yeah. Well, my granddaughter's birthday is Monday.
Whose?
My grandbaby,
Which one?
Michaela.
Oh, is it?
She's the only girl I got.
Oh, right, okay. I
The
thought
rest of them are boys. Yeah.
it's hard to keep track of everybody's kids these days.
Yeah. Yeah. So her birthday is Monday, March the 17th.
I think, I'm not sure, I think I'll try and get these on as many listed on my calendar as possible. The
And
trouble is, there's so many things on my calendar now that
somebody else,
I can't spot them.
somebody else's birthday's Monday. Oh yeah, now I know. Scott's got some twin sisters. They're 80 some years old. 89. His twin sister's birthday is the same day.
Who's it? A friend of mine introduced me to her two kids as twins, but they had different birthdays.
Mm.
I said, how did you manage to work that one out? And it turned out that one was born just before midnight and the other one was born just after midnight. I thought that was so cool. I thought
Yeah.
that was brilliant. They both got different birthdays. You know, one day after the other, but they're still twins.
That Meg's house is wired with no ground to each outlet, so hers wouldn't be too hard to put another.
It would be too difficult to blow yourself up.
She's got two prong.
Your house has got a ground. It's just
Yeah, but
it's
it's
most
not.
likely to be you.
Yeah, she's got a ground, but it's just not to ever plug in. You know, the plug-ins don't have the third prong.
Hmm. Yeah, I would never work. I'd hate to work on American Electrics. I really would. It's, you know,
Well,
just looking at them, it's all like it scares the life out of me. Thinking, you got to be kidding me.
Well, the requirements changed so much over the years. You know, what the minimum was of this or that. Like when we put the power box in, new power box in back here, they were talking about 3 wire, and I'm like, no, I just got a 2. You know, so they came back and said, oh, that'll be fine, that'll be okay. Good, because that's what I was going to do.
But new light fittings also annoy me as well, because over here they used to have a standard pattern. In other words, you'd have what they call a rose box with 2 screw holes in it, and that was the size of everything went up there and fitted it. Now you buy a light fitting, it's got screw holes all over the place, and the place where the wire comes in might not necessarily be in the right place. It's not in the middle, you know, and they drive me nuts. I hate them. I hate trying to change a light fitting now, because I need to know that when I'm putting a screw through, it's going to be safe to put a screw through. I don't want to be putting a screw through and finding myself going into a wire.
Yeah. Yeah. Tammy, I think. Christina, are you still here? Michaela's going to be 7, I think. I think that's right. 7 or 8. 7, I think. I can't keep up.
How old's Freaky? He's 9, isn't he? Is he 9 or 10?
10, I think. He turned 10 January, I think. That's right.
Because, you know, whenever I see him on video and that sort of thing, I'm thinking, oh, you know, he's quite a bit older than that. But
Yeah.
then you see him standing next to someone, you're thinking,
Yeah.
either that guy's really tall or he's short.
Yeah.
Because I expect him to be bigger.
They still baby.
It's funny when I watch people on video and that sort of thing. If I watch them on video and then I see them in real life, the ones that are short I expect to be taller, and the ones that are tall I expect to be, the ones that are tall, I expect them to seem tall when I see them. And they don't.
That's the way they're
And the ones
holding
that
the
are
camera.
short, I expect them to appear shorter when I see them, and they're not.
Yeah.
It's sort of like on video, that's how far apart, you know, they're that far apart, and in real life, they just get a bit closer.
Well, Neil, it's the same way with weight on camera. You look like you weigh about 10 pounds more than you actually do. And if you got 2 cameras running them at the same
Is that your
time, it looks
excuse?
like, if you got 2 cameras, it looks like you weigh 20 pounds more.
It's also down to camera angle.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, for instance, from front on, if you film me from front on, you could get away with portrait mode. But if I turn sideways, you'd need landscape. You know?
Yeah. I got to go to that wide screen. Here. Hang on just a minute. Oh, man. But, it's, I go to one doctor, and she, and I go, oh, look, I hadn't gained no more weight. You need to lose some more. I go to another doctor, and I go, step on the scale, and I go, oh, I've lost some weight. They don't know no different, you know. The only
Well,
one's got,
I'm only 5'5", you know, and you know, with the weight that I've got, you know, it works out that I'm over. You know, the doctor says you're slightly overweight. I said I'm not slightly overweight. I'm slightly under height.
yeah.
You know, if I was a couple
Oh,
of inches taller, I'd be fine.
everybody, people that don't know me, I've been told this more than once. They're going, because I'm not big anywhere except for my belly. And I've had people who didn't know me be talking, going, yeah, he's had a few beers too many. And I'll be like, I don't even drink. Oh, but
See, I don't eat a lot, but I mean, I used to do a lot of exercise. I used to go swimming a lot. You know, I used to go swimming every Sunday. I'd go swimming. I'd do 5 miles worth of swimming. I can't do that anymore, simply because the places I used to go, they've changed the way they do things. And instead of having a period of time that's all lane swimming, it's not. You have a couple of lanes cut off, and then the rest of the pool being general use. And I can't swim like that.
well, Meg's shrinking on us.
Pardon?
Well, Meg, I've lost a half inch. I used to be 5'10". Now I'm 5'9.5". And when
Well,
somebody,
here's a
and
little
when,
thing. I used to think I was 5'4", and then the doctor measured me. I was 5'5", and I thought, I've spent nearly 50 years, sort of nearly 40 years, being 5'4", and now I've gained an inch somewhere.
Cog Hill has a shelter. Well, that's good. I got a
I was a
shelter
little
too.
surprised. I know the shelter that the Eddies have got is big enough for, just to go there and hide out. But I mean, if anything happens, there's no room down there to move or do anything when you've got 6 people in
Yeah, well, yeah, it really, you're not, usually you're not, from a tornado or something, you're not there 15, 20 minutes.
it,
Uh,
unless something lands on top of it. I mean,
yeah,
it did bother me a little bit that it was so close to that tree. That tree could come down and land on the door, and that's it. They're staying
yeah. Well, one of the buildings way on down yonder could blow up there and land on top of it too. That's weird. But
there. I mean, it wouldn't be the first thing that happened to Brandon when Sulphur got hit.
yeah.
Where they got stuck in the
He
stuck
got
in
stuck
the
in, he got stuck in his brother's, didn't he?
because of because of something fell on top of the door. I mean, you never know how long it is going to be before someone comes to look and help.
Mm.
Because I don't know. I mean, they're metal boxes, so I don't know how well a phone signal will get through.
Yeah, I'd want an antenna running out of there somehow. Uh, yeah, Tammy, I mean, different things causes problems. I don't know what mine was other than poor eating habits from running up and down the road all the time, all over the country. But I used to do martial arts, and I was nothing. I was a lot of muscle, and but then when I was working on the submarines, you know, I was slimmed in, but I started
Well,
gaining. I started gaining most of my weight back when I broke my back in '99,
hmm.
and after that, I've never been able to. I stayed the same weight for like 10 years. I managed to stay the same weight, and then all of a sudden, everything went the other way.
Well, I mean, for until from the age of about 17 until the age of 30, I weighed no more than about 105 pounds. But I was incredibly fit, incredibly strong. After that, I just, for some reason, I just started gaining weight. It was purely down to the fact that I didn't get as much anywhere near as much exercise as I used to. I used to get a lot of exercise.
That wait a minute. She used wait a minute. Tammy says she was 5'6" and 5'4.5".
That's a lot to lose.
That's yeah. You must have been stepping. You must have stepped in a mud puddle or something when they made
Oh, I
when
don't
they
know
were.
about that. It's
That's a
either that
lot.
or she's been walking around in bare feet too long, and it's one an inch and a half off the bottom of her legs.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of high. Because I got discs in my back that are, not from deteriorating, and they say that's why I don't stand like I should, and it hurts to stand. It hurts to stay good, real good, super posture. It hurts me to stay there. I can do it, and I can sit up straight, good and tall and straight, and walk the same way. But I don't. I get to hurting real pretty quick. But if I let the pressure off them discs and don't force it, I get around. I can. It don't hurt as bad. I get a little. I can get a little further, a few more steps out of without being in pain.
Yeah, I remember there was a time when I was trying to I was at the local store, and I was trying to get something off the top shelf, and I couldn't quite reach it. And someone turned around to me and said, someone's coming along and decided to make a little quip. They were going to help me get it off the top shelf, and they said, your problem is your legs are too short. I said, what do you mean they're too short? They reach the ground. If my legs were too short, they wouldn't reach the ground, would they? Come on.
Scott bought one of them grabbers that picks stuff up off the
I've
floor.
got one of those. I've got one of those that folds in half.
Well, I've always had these. I had some, but they're cheap, and don't take much to break them. And he bought one, and that they use like down the road picking up garbage and stuff. It's pretty sturdy and pretty strong. And he goes, I needed that, but then he tells me, "Oh, if you need it, it's on the 4-wheeler." I put it on the 4-wheeler for you. And you bought that, yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing that gets me, because it's almost like, I mean, there's so many cameras, CCTV cameras in the stores these days. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am absolutely convinced. I mean, I know some of the staff that work there. Yeah. I'm absolutely convinced that whoever works out where the stuff goes looks to see what I buy and then puts it on the top shelf. I am convinced of it.
Here comes that guy named Neil. Move that up there.
Oh, he's having those now, is he? Right, okay, top shelf.
Oh, let's see. That was me. Well,
There was one occasion, one of the bottles of drinks that I have, you know, up on one of the higher shelves. It wasn't on the top shelf, but one just below it, but it was right at the back, And I was getting funny looks of people. I had a can of a tin of pineapple chunks. Yeah, and I was throwing it at this bottle to see if I could get it to fall down so I could reach it.
Oh wow. Who lost power?
I managed to get the bottle, but then I couldn't reach the pineapple chunks.
Sue lost power.
Oh dear.
But she's got it back now. Is the weather real bad down there? Or is it just a quick storm blew through?
That's the only problem with internet. You
Yeah.
know, it's all well and good. It uses the phone lines and the phone system and that sort of thing tends to have its own power supply. That's all well and good, but you still need power to power the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Well,
So
as
it's
long
all
as
well and good you've got internet, but it's no good to you. You can't use it.
now this new person that we've got in here,
Here,
uh,
here.
yeah, Pixie.
Oh yeah, she's
Uh,
the one we got in here, is she?
I think she told me. I think I saw something about where she was 6'9" or something like that.
See, the trouble is, I actually thought Brandon was a little bit shorter than he actually is. But when they said how tall the kids are, you suddenly realise that he's actually taller than you think he is. I don't think he's over 6 foot, but you know, he's only a couple of inches short of that if at the most.
Yeah, she got a
When
flat
you
disc.
have the kid standing next to someone, you've got an idea in your head that that kid's that age, so that's how tall they are. But it turns out that the Eddie kids are actually tall for their age. £6'9" with a name like Pixie. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And look, if Mickey Mouse could be a 7 foot tall rat, then I'm fairly certain a Pixie could be 6'9".
Now Meg says she had a flat disc. Mine's deteriorating, and they're not in position where they should be. They're kind of like twisted and fell over. Yep, she's in Alabama. Boy, she's 5'6".
Well, someone said to me, "You know, the trouble with you is you're too small." I said, "I'm not small. I'm fun size."
Yeah, they're right there. That's where they're right in the area. I thought of them when I was looking at the radar earlier. They're right there in that section where I think the worst of it was coming up. I hope her new above ground planters didn't blow away.
I've actually got a website that I look at track storms and things like that, and I've got your place marked on there. I've got the Eddie's marked on there, and a couple of others, so I can see whether you know what's going on, what the storm warnings and things like that. I actually remember watching that website when the tornado went through Sulphur, and I
Yeah,
thought, ooh, you know, watching the markings on the map as it shows where it is and which way it's going. I'm thinking, oh, I wouldn't want to be in that the way of that one. And look what it did. But they are rebuilding, which is good.
yeah. Whoa.
Those sound like big hailstones.
That's hail.
It's either hail or the chickens have climbed onto the roof and doing a tap dance.
Yeah. It's not big, but it's a lot of it.
Tammy says she's 5'11".
5.5 from the Gulf. Hmm.
Well, I've actually got a cousin who is over 7 foot tall, and it's insane because you know I went down to visit them one time, and he was driving us around, and I was in the passenger seat, and I had to look over my shoulder to talk to him because he had the seat so far back.
Well, one of Michael's uncles on his mama's side, I think he's like 6'7" or something like that. But he's more than six. I think it's 6'7". Is that or more? He's a tall guy.
It's crazy, you know, when you go out when we went to visit, and you know, everyone stand over there for a photo, and we're standing over there, and like I say, I'm 5'5", and he's over 7 foot tall. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's, you know, which one do we take a photograph of first? The one at the top or the one at the bottom?
Well, if he gets in a picture, you have to go, okay, the tallest in the back. And so he's
Crazy.
always,
He could stand on his knees and still be taller than me.
yeah, he's the tallest in the back. Now, can we get the tallest to bend down a little bit? Yeah.
I'm not kidding. You know, he could go down on his knees and still be taller than me. It's one of the craziest things.
140 pounds, that's all. Well,
He has to literally go whenever my cousin buys a car. He has to buy a car. He has to go and check to see how far the seat will go back first. And you know, quite often the seat could be all the way back, and he'll still have his knees up either side of the steering. He's a freak.
Complain about my aches and pains when I was 40. Meg, you're over 40? I thought she was younger than I was.
62 years old. 62 years young. You're a baby, you know. That's only 30 in Dean years.
50 and now 75. Wow. Yeah, we've had some high winds. Because yesterday it was blowing pretty good, but it hadn't got real bad yet. And we got some tin on some lumber over here, and I said, well, Scott said, oh, let's put some pallets on there. So we put some pallets on top of it so it wouldn't blow the tin around. Tin is going to blow. You know, that was the second part.
Now that actor friend of mine is he's 6'4", and he used to say, "Oh, why is it you don't like standing next to me?" I said, "I can't see you." I have to stand back, otherwise I get a bad neck.
I don't like looking at your ankles, if you don't mind.
The guy's a whole foot taller than me. It's...
51. Dang, even Sue's older than I am. Everybody on here is, I guess.
Who's 50?
Sue, 51.
My joints are complaining now. My joints are starting to complain at my age. I'm only 57 at the moment, so. But
Yeah.
I used to do, like I say, I used to do a lot of sports, a lot of running, a lot of swimming, a lot of walking. You know, I used to
Yeah.
play football, and my joints don't like it anymore. You know, they don't like going up and down stairs, and
Well,
it's always a bit worrying because sometimes, uh, just out of the blue, one of my knees, it feels like the legs are trying to bend the other way. You know, and I'm thinking, you know, I'm walking down a flight of stairs, a long flight of stairs. I do not want to be. I need my legs. My legs need to be working. You know?
yeah. Well, I was still going to the gym and 5 years ago, 2019, 2020.
I used to go to the gym, but I just got bored sitting there watching everybody.
uh,
I mean, Weight Watchers was fun, but you know,
well, I was trying to regain my strength back from the stroke. I'm trying to get my left side of my body stronger again.
yeah,
And then uh, COVID happened, and I joined this gym. It was 24/7, and you could go by there and go in and work out. If you didn't feel like during the day, you could go at night. It didn't matter whenever you felt like it, you could go. And then COVID happened, and then they decided to cut their hours. And then they put out a bulletin that Sundays they were just going to be open for 4 hours. Well, Sunday after church and stuff was always busy on weekends. Uh, so, but they cut Sundays to 4 hours and then closed the building to help protect the people. And I'm like, wait a minute, you got everybody now trying to pile in just a 4 hour time frame. That puts more people in contact together.
it's a crazy idea.
That don't make no sense.
You should
And
extend
that
the hours so that people have more time to fit in.
well, it was 24/7. It was around the clock. So if you
Yeah,
drove up there and the place was packed full of people, you could go, well, I'll drop back by later, you know, and go back. But they shrunk it down and made it harder for people to be in there unless they're all piled in there, and you had to wait for stuff to use it. And then they
of course
decided they were
you
going.
then got to try and clean the stuff as well. Every
Well,
piece of equipment's got to be cleaned between uses.
yeah. Well, I was like, well, you know what? I'm canceling my membership for now. Oh, you can't do that. I said, oh yeah, I can. You done breached the contract yourself I signed up for a 24/7 gym. If you ain't gonna provide that, you're the one that broke the contract, not me. So they didn't argue with me, and I never heard nothing else from them. But after everything cleared up and they started letting them open back up and stuff, because after that, they finally shut down. And uh, I was already out of there by then. But
And
uh,
gym fees are expensive as well.
yeah, but just
My mm,
I, I can understand shutting down if that's what they wanted to do. But to say they were protecting people by putting a 24-hour day into 4 hours for everybody, no, that didn't make no sense at all.
that didn't make any sense. I mean, my friend used to make me laugh at herself. I mean, she used to drive about 2.5 miles. It was actually closer to 3 miles, but you know, she used to drive 3 miles to the gym, run on a treadmill for 5 miles, and then get in the car and drive back 3 miles. I said to her, "Why don't you run to the gym and back? That's 6 miles of running, and it don't cost you anything."
Well, yeah. Unless you wanted to work on certain things that required more than walking, then
I used to like to
good
me
leg strength though.
the best exercise I used to do was swimming. I used, like I say, every Sunday, 7 mile, sorry, 5 miles every Sunday up at Crystal Palace. It was wonderful because it exercises every muscle in your body and gives you cardio at the same time. And it's a good gentle exercise. You don't notice you're actually getting the exercise until you try and get out of the pool and you suddenly find your legs don't work anymore.
Yeah. Well, you see, I like that's what I like about videoing. I can video when I feel like it. When I can put on a good face, I reckon you can say, and you can mess with the settings and speed it up and make it look like you're not crawling across the yard, but you're actually getting on across the yard.
I was really impressed with you the other day where you walked into the bar and suddenly appeared next to the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah, well, I did that one of them snap your finger things. Oh, so, but yeah,
But I mean,
the game.
if I was ever able to buy a house and win, if I won enough money on the lottery and I was able to buy a house, then it would have to have its own indoor swimming pool. Because that is literally one thing I do miss is being able to go swimming.
Yeah, give me an
You
indoor
know,
swimming pool. I don't want a living room. Give me an indoor pool instead.
it's got to be an indoor swimming pool. It's got
Yeah.
to be because this is the UK.
Yeah.
You know, people have got outdoor pools and they get to use them about 4 or 5 times a year. I want one that if I get up in the middle of the night, in the middle of winter, I can still go and have a swim if I wanted to. You know?
Yeah. Did y'all see Grandpa Doss where
No,
he talking about standing up and putting his pants on?
no, I missed that.
Did any of y'all see that one? Yeah. Yeah. That's his goal to continue being able to stand up without holding on to anything. He put his pants on. They made a whole conversation. They made a whole conversation out of it. People talking about they sit down and do it and then stand up and pull them. I'm like, okay, sounds like one of my conversations.
Sue's saying that she's started slowing down now, so
Yeah.
that's good. I mean, if I try to slow down any more, I'll be going backwards.
Oh, there you go. That 6'9" Pexy says, use your outdoor swimming pool for a skating rink.
Yeah, but it won't be anywhere near big enough, and I'm no use at skating.
Yeah, he does his chicken dance. Dun 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 dun.
I like Brandon. You know, the ball over with Brandon, the bushwhacker. I call that the bushwhacker boogie.
It's got him that.
That bull can dance.
Yeah, he's scared of that bull now. I tell you, he's getting more and more worried about him.
I think that bull's just trying to sort of say, "Look, I'm bigger. I'm the boss now."
No,
You know, but
they
he's trying to do it because he doesn't want to hurt Brandon because Brandon's his friend and supplies him with food.
well he don't mean no harm, but he can hurt you.
Yeah.
They babied him too much and petted him too much. You know, we had one like that. That would pin you against the barn and make you pass out. But it was just playing. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
We used to, when it was young, it was bottle fed. and when it was young, we'd push its head down between its front legs and let it pick us up and stuff.
Yeah, I was getting a little bit worried. I think was it Romeo, the one that was busy biting the other
Mm.
day, biting the neck of one of the other horses.
Oh well, that hey, that was they were flirting.
They say they were flirting. I mean, the thing
Don't
is
that's
when.
what don't donkeys do that when they're in season when it's that time.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
That's a donkey thing. That was,
yeah.
he's out there
But
trying to stop it.
the thing was when Brandon went in there trying to break them up. He couldn't get them to
Yeah.
separate. So,
Well,
but when Brandon was walking away, all of a sudden it came charging over, braying like a lunatic. You know,
yeah. You interrupted me.
yeah. It was literally like he was being told off. You know? And I think the only thing that stopped it from having a go at him was the fact that he realised there's an electric fence in the way. You know? I've made my
Yeah.
point and turned around and walked off.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, it's a shame that the kids have to stay away from bushwhacking now. And
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, some of
he just
those
wants
animals are getting pretty nasty now.
he just wants to play,
Well, that's just
but
it. I mean, they used
he
to
don't
play
realize how strong he is.
with the turkeys and some of the goats. And some of the goats are getting a bit rougher now, and they want to play, but they're bigger, and
Yeah.
they've got these dirty, great, big, pointy things sticking out the tops of their heads. Their play isn't quite so much fun.
Yeah. Hey, do you think I could imitate the wormy dance? I'll have to try it on camera one day. Tell Grandpa Dawson. There's an old man that can outdo you on that one. Yeah, he's doing good after his heart surgery overall. I was a little worried about him for a while there, but the catch to it all is therapy. Yeah, now he needs to get him a really. All he needs is a walking stick or something to put out there every time bushwhacker comes at him or comes trying to come to him for him to run into. He'll turn on him. He'll turn from it. Uh, but he just wants to play. I got picked up one time by a bull and threw higher than a clothesline pole. Yeah. You know, dance off, yeah. I had to put a challenge out there for him to show us so he didn't put it on. And I'm here to out challenge him to see who can do the best.
Yeah, there you are. You've got the guinea dance.
Yeah, mine just be called the guinea dance. The guinea dance is better.
Just
The
run up
guinea
and down a
dance.
few times.
The guinea. The guinea. The guinea dance is better than the chicken dance. That's what it'd be.
You know, I can't believe that Brandon and that lot slept through the tornado warning.
Well, it's not hard to do. All you gotta do is,
Turn the phone off.
yeah, just. Uh,
I get occasionally we've got a early warning system on our phones as well, and every so often they do a test saying you don't have to do anything.
Sue,
Yes,
we're
I
going to
do.
tell you.
I need to turn this thing off.
We're going to tell you, God bless, Sue, in case we don't see you, because I'm not going to be on here but just a little bit longer. I've stayed a lot longer than I thought I'd be able to. But I told Christina, I was talking to her on the phone, and I said, I'm going to go live
I
while I
just
can.
realised Eric's not here. Let me go and see where Eric is.
But you stay safe down there. Yeah, I, a lot of it is attitude and your mental state of how you know. He's I've been through the part of losing the abilities of that I used to have, and that's a hard thing to accept and to get through. You can come back and get strong again, but in my case, there was certain limits to everything.
I think that is the worst thing about getting older.
I wouldn't know nothing about that yet.
It's definitely the worst thing about getting older is the fact that you suddenly realise you can't do some of the things you used to do.
Yes, that's right.
I can still sit cross. I can still sit with my legs crossed, no problem.
She's talking about the donkey.
Oh right.
Yeah, he went right on up. He went right on up there into their field, didn't he?
Yes,
Trying to
but
get.
the difference is, Tammy, Brandon doesn't do that sort of thing outside.
Hmm. See, my left leg is totally numb right now from sitting here. I couldn't stand up right now.
Well, that's just it. I mean, I have no problem sitting there cross-legged. The problem I've got is standing up afterwards.
Oh, cross-legged, I couldn't do that. Period.
You know, I find it a very comfortable way of sitting. It's just like I say, after sitting like it for a while, I go to stand up and I can't stand up.
Yeah. Yeah, my knees won't let me stand up. That's why I used to. That's why most of the time I get in that electric chair that picks me up, keeps me from having to use my knees to get up my back.
Well, luckily the new that lovely new bed and mattress has got some really good spring to it.
Yeah.
So I just, if I can't get up, I just bounce a few times until I get some momentum.
Dancing for the guineas might be right. Ah, yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to do the guinea dance, and then we'll have to have a contest. Is my guinea dance better than his chicken dance?
I don't dance. I don't dance. I don't sing.
I think I might lose to him, but I'll try. I don't mind losing.
I
Yeah.
don't dance and I don't sing. People have tried to get me to do that so many times. I used to have a wonderful voice when I was little, but I say I had a bit of an accident where I damaged my nose, and I didn't like the sound of my voice after that, so I stopped. I'm one of those, if I can't do something well, I don't want to do it.
I bet, Neil, you say that, but everybody who sings, there's a few people who sing that are natural singers, but for the most part, everybody takes voice lessons and stuff like that nature, to make to sing the songs. I think if I think you'd make a good singer.
I don't. I know I don't. I wouldn't. I can sing in tune, but I just don't like my voice.
Yeah, but I
What they
think
what they tell you when it comes to choirs and things like that is they teach you to find the voice in your head that gives you the sound that they want on the outside, because everyone in to themselves, you don't sound the same to yourself as you do to everybody else. So what they do is they try and train you, saying to get your voice the way they want it to sound to everybody else, and then you learn that is the way you want your voice to sound in your head for it to sound right.
yeah.
Well, for me to sound right to everybody else, I've got to sound absolutely terrible in my head.
You know what? I used to tell them in church, next Sunday I'll be singing. Y'all bring some hearing aids because the louder it is, the better it sounds.
That's the thing. I mean, like I say, I did have a really beautiful voice when I was a kid, and then, the music teacher at the time turned around and said my voice still sounded great, but to me, it wasn't as good as it was. And if I can't do it as good as it was, I don't want to do it.
Well, I can see you, and I can see me swapping a leg. Then I could do the giddy dance.
Yeah, it used to make me laugh when I was a kid when my mum used to turn around to me and say that, Neil, you've got your shoes on the wrong feet. I said, what are you talking about? These are the only feet I've got.
And what would be funny is I would get this urge to want to shave one leg. Oh,
I've sent Eric a message to see if he responds and turns up.
well, he gonna get here about the time I'm leaving.
Well, you've only been on 2.5 hours.
I know, I know. I'm
That's the
feeling
downside of having me on. That is the downside of having me on. You always
well.
seem to be on for so long.
You've carried me a part of the way here because I'd have probably had to go already if I was by myself. And yeah, it's 10:07. I'll go over and sleep.
Just think of it as I'm helping you get the watch hours up.
No, that don't work on lives. I don't think.
It works on all of them. I mean, I think your lives are actually recorded as well, anyway, so they get watched again by other people.
Yeah, if they watch it again, yeah,
They all count.
or if they watch it for the first time.
I don't think they count up to 2.5 hours. But...
Yeah.
And I sometimes just go back through when we're on a live or something like that. I sometimes go back and watch the whole thing, and then go through all the comments, because a lot of the time I'm just watching what's going on the screen.
Yeah.
That's why I spotted Stephanie tried to hide a yawn on her video.
Well, it's just like well, for instance, Meg, if she notices, I might say something that might not make no sense at all. I might say hi. I might say, well, that something, who knows. But the point is, you say something. If you just type a letter, but also when she responds or somebody responds, not I always hit the thumbs up on the response. The more that's done, the more it draws to it.
Well, I think they've all got used to my comments now.
No, you wouldn't.
I took it very, very easy at the beginning, because I was sort of like, I didn't know what their sense of humour was like. Would they spot it? Because British humour tends to be a bit more sarcastic, and a bit rougher around the edges. Yeah. What would they actually like? My sense of humour. My sense of humour is based purely, almost entirely on wordplay and literal thinking.
Yeah.
It's almost entirely based on that. So it's
Meg,
for instance, when Stephanie was trying to hide that yawn, I put in a comment saying that either Stephanie's top smells nice or she's trying to hide a yawn.
Meg done a video of the sunrise the other morning, a couple of days ago. And then she missed it, the sunset. So I had to stay awake for a whole nother couple of days before I got a sunset. It's the hardest thing I ever done. I'm like, she's got to give me a sunset. I said, good morning, sunshine. I got to say good night, sunshine, so I can go to sleep.
Yeah, who was it was talking about? Actually, I think it was in chat. I think it was in a chat sort of thing where Eric, they were talking about the lunar eclipse, and Eric turned around and said, "It's a good job it's a full moon. It
Yeah.
looks better." And I thought, to have a lunar eclipse, you've got to have a full moon. The moon's got to be behind the Earth, shining on the moon.
To block the shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we definitely had a full moon. It's just I couldn't get out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was laying there thinking about trying to make it to a hospital.
You get people. I get people turn around and say, "Well, did you see it?" I thought, "What do you mean? Did I see it? I'm 4,700 miles away. Why would I see it?" Don't they know how the solar system works? You know.
Yeah. Oh.
See, the trouble is, you get the cold weather, and everyone complains about it being really super cold, and then you get the stormy weather and the tornadoes and that sort of thing. And everyone's complaining about all the tornadoes, and then the summer comes along, and everyone's complaining because it's too hot. You're
Yeah.
living in the wrong place, yeah. You know?
Now while you guys talking about the moon had to block the shadow.
The Earth had
Did you
to
watch?
block the
Did you
shadow
watch?
of the
Did you
sun.
watch Meg walking? I think it was in the backyard, coming from the back field there. She had one great big long shadow. For somebody to be as short as she says she is, her shadow was 10 foot long. Big old long shadow. And I think I said something about your shadows following you or something, but it was just something to say.
Well, it's like in those.
Something I
It's
noticed.
like that. It's like in that song I wrote for the Eddies, where there were people turning around and saying that the lyrics were perfect and that sort of thing. Do you realise it took me over 2 weeks to write those lyrics?
To
Because
get it right.
I would be doing something, and then all of a sudden I'm thinking that would sound nice there. The hardest person to write for was Addison, because
Yeah.
I wanted to get her sensitivity over without making her sound like a wimp, you know.
Yeah.
And it took me, as a result, she ended up with 2 lines in a third verse, all to herself. Just capturing the character without making her sound like a wimp.
Yeah.
Oh, ding dong, ding ding dong, ding. Hello, he's back. There he is. What happened? Did you lose your Wi-Fi?
Ah, I'm here.
Oh, you just suddenly there. You just
It's
suddenly went offline.
it's supposed to be thunderstorms here in Tennessee. Yep. Yep.
I was thinking I was going to have to entertain everybody on my own.
Up close to Interstate 40 and across there was pretty bad today, I think.
It's crazy. It's crazy when I look at that storm tracker and things like that, and I see where all the warnings are and all the other bits and pieces going on, and how much rain you get, and how much hailstones, how you get, and all that sort of thing. And I'm sort of like, yeah, I'm glad I live in the UK because the weather doesn't have that much of a range.
Hmm.
You know, we do get some nasty rain and we get some nasty storms and some nasty wind sometimes, but you know, we don't have a season where we're actually expecting it.
There's been tornadoes
Actually,
just north of Chattanooga. Yeah. Yeah.
the crazy thing is, in the UK, we have more tornadoes than anywhere else in the world. The difference is ours are tiny, last a minute at the most, and are usually out in the middle of nowhere doing nothing.
Yeah. Peggy, now, uh, the north of Chattanooga there, that's the way the crow flies, or the bee, or the butterfly. That's not but
That's a long way
mate,
because the
that
crow
might
never
be
fly. The crow doesn't fly in a straight line.
yeah, that might be about 40 miles from me.
I'm gonna have a
Under
look at
50,
the weather map. I'm gonna have a look at the
but
storm map, see what it says.
because I can be in Chattanooga in 23 miles in the not downtown, but into the city limits of Chattanooga.
See, that's another thing. I mean, the size of the US and things like that. When I look at how far away people are from various locations, it's you know, to me, it's sort of like the way it's like how far the eddies are from Sulphur and Davis and that sort of thing. And I think they look
Yeah,
just down the road, but they're a few miles away.
yeah. Well, Sunday day.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm just looking at your location on my map. Yeah. Just down to the south of you, and roughly heading in your direction. There's currently some severe thunderstorm warnings, and just a little bit further south is tornadoes.
yeah.
I
Now,
don't I
Peggy,
don't know I don't know which direction the storm's heading, but
it's.
you
I
know,
think it's heading
it
more
should
north.
it, it
Northeast.
should it should it should head. Judging by the way it's looking on this map, it should pass south of you,
Oh, okay.
south
Yeah.
and east of you.
Yeah.
Looking at this, the way it appears to be going, but you're currently in the middle of a large bank, so hopefully it'll all clear off to the southeast and east
Right now,
before
yeah.
the nasty stuff gets to you.
It's supposed to be out of here by morning anyway. Saudi Daisy, Peggy, is about an hour driving from here, but you have to go to Chattanooga and then you have to go around and take Highway 27 and go north. But the way the crow flies, it'd be about 35 minutes, somewhere in that neighborhood.
You mean in a straight line?
Yeah, straight line.
In a straight line, it's that far.
Straight line from here to there. About 35 minutes.
It would actually be a lot longer than that because there's no road.
That's why you're flying. Flying a straight line. Flying a straight line, Neil. Okay. Yeah, it's and that's up there, and north of that is Interstate 40, and that storm there was heading up and gonna cross Interstate 40 up there.
Yeah, I mean, this is let me think. This is what I've got at the moment showing up on here, and there you are. You're that little dot in the middle of that big yellow blotch,
Yeah.
and that's what's showing on my map at the moment. So if you look to the south of you, you've got those warnings going on, and so looking at the way they appear to be heading, they should be going sort of like southeast and to the east of you.
Yeah, let's see if they've done an update.
But that's a live thing. I get the alerts and things like that. I have so much stuff on my computer that I don't need.
Let's see.
But I just love knowing things about areas and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's coming right straight up towards Chattanooga. Right there, it's what's happening in the past less than an hour ago.
Yeah. The map I use is sort of like it gets updated on every few minutes.
Yeah.
The trouble is, I wish it had a what do you call it? Timeline where you can go backwards and forwards, so you can actually see which way it's going, but it doesn't.
Yeah, that's heading more. That's heading. That's coming like from Alabama, kind of heading northeast, but floating east as it goes north.
Yeah. It does appear to be sort of like it does look like, I mean, the little pointy bit on that tab is exactly where your house is. So,
Well,
so it's pretty precise.
I'm well protected.
Don't tell me you've turned the camper into a shelter.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I put nails through the tires right into the ground. Yeah.
See, I
Well,
don't mind rain. You know, it can rain as much as it likes because, you know, I've got waterproof coats and things like that. Doesn't bother me. But the wind, I absolutely hate the wind. I cannot
yeah,
stand wind.
animals the same way. I was watching the Magnificent Seven. The wind go to blowing, they go in the house. I told Scott, I said, they go in that house. They don't have no problem piling up in there together.
You know, wind, thunderstorms. Thunderstorms I love. Rain, I don't mind. I don't even mind hailstones because the ones we get here are just sort of like, you know, not much bigger than, you know, a small pea or something. You know, most of the time they're quite small. We don't generally get very large hail, but I don't mind all that. It's just the wind, because the thing with hail, rain, and things like that is you can get shelter from it easily, but the wind will always find a way in.
That's okay, Meg. No problem.
It's going to be very long. Wow.
Can you hear it?
So basically what Meg's saying is her next video is going to be very long because she's going to be showing off her legs.
Oh. There's some hail in that right there. Not a lot.
Yeah, so
Meg-
basically what Meg's saying is that her next video is going to be very long because she's showing off her legs.
And I said, no problem, Meg. Before you said that. Oh, Pixie. The mountain, we got the mountain over here. We got the mountain back over this way coming up 59. And then we got the mountains to the north of us in Tennessee. And then I got the ridge right here behind the house. The problem is, and this has happened before, tornado got in and couldn't get out. It formed inside the valley, and it was just working this valley to death.
Yeah, the problem with it sat nav, that's the trouble.
Yeah, it was stuck. It was stuck between the mountains and the ridges. It was just whipping in and out, back and forth from one to the other. It was tearing up some ground.
Valleys are very prone to that sort of thing though, because you get the wind coming over the hills and it meets in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's literally got nowhere to go.
Yeah, we miss a lot because of the mountains and stuff. But when one does get in here, it stays. It has a hard time getting out. And the last time one got in here and went at Fort Overthorpe, caught part of it, and it tore up some buildings and stuff down there. But it had to find its way out of here somehow.
I was actually looking the other day at Eddie's new property. That's a good rainstorm.
I don't
I love that sound.
I don't like tornadoes at night because you can't see them. That's why I have to listen for them.
That's all right, I'll find you.
Yeah. If I can see where it's at, it don't bother me at all. Because I can get away from it.
Well, the thing is, let's say if you look at a tornado and it isn't moving, it's one of two things. It's either going away from you or it's coming straight towards you.
Yeah. One of the two.
So if you can see a tornado and you can see it moving, great. You're okay.
Yeah.
But the moment it seems to stop, that's it. That's the time you need to start worrying.
Yeah, Meg, it's going to be all right here tonight. It's nothing.
Yeah, I was looking at the that well house that the Eddie's found on their property, their new property.
Yeah, if I was him, I'd get me some pipe to run, a hose pipe to run down there, and I'd get me a pump, and I'd get one of them portable generators out there.
Well,
One of them.
see, that's just it, because I was looking at historical imagery on Google Earth, because I thought there's got to be clues as to why there would be a well house in the middle of a field.
Well, somebody's house is probably out there.
Well, that's just it. If you look at the south, if you look at a picture from uh, over the years, it's sort of like it's all grown up a little bit and it's shade. But if you go back to around about 2003, you can see the outline of what used to be a house,
Yeah.
appears to have been a house, literally in the bottom southwest corner. The southwest corner of their property near there. And looking at where they found the well, where it looks like they found the well house, it looks like that well house supplied the house.
Probably did.
And that would tie in with all the power lines they found when they first moved down there.
Yeah. Yeah, there was something down there because the power was down there and everything else. So,
Yeah.
but
So I think
that
I think there was a
well,
house down there at one point.
I would put me a, I would put me a. You can even hook one to a trash pump and pump some water out of there, and I'd have it tested, and it might shoot. He could pump some water out of there, feed the animals, and water the animals from it, and
They'll have to test the water a little bit, but I mean, I think down there it doesn't have to be permanently on. They could take one of their power supplies, run a pump for a while,
yeah,
to water the animals.
yeah. They could go. They just build a little building to keep it in down there, just right there, and a
Yeah,
pump in it,
just keep it protected. It'll be fine.
and when it was going to freeze and during the winter, just pull the plug and carry it in the house. Let the water drain back down.
Yeah.
It ain't no different than what we do with the irrigating with the pump down
It
here.
it doesn't need to have a proper power supply or anything like that for it. Just something that you can go down there, turn on,
Yeah,
and now it's suddenly working.
even a even a trash pump, just pumps water like we use for the irrigating.
Yeah,
You fill a tank up, it'll run.
because when you look down that well, the water's not too far down. It's not like it's you got to
Yeah,
go down something like 30, 40 feet.
yeah,
It's there.
yeah. But if they were using it for the house, it's deep enough that I'd put the hose on down there and see how deep it did go. There's
Hmm.
probably some real good drinking water down there at the bottom of it.
Hmm.
It
Yeah, I don't
I
expect
look,
the top stuff to be very nice, but they're up to a winner getting the creek and that well at the same time.
yeah.
You
And
know,
Chris, there's a siren that we don't have one right here, unless they use the emergency siren for the prison, which I don't think they would do. But that one is for the escaped prisoners. But the closest one is going to be Lafayette, about 6 miles from here, and I've never heard it go off. So I don't know if I was sleeping through it or what, but I never heard it go off down there.
yeah, I know the alerts on my phone are loud. They're very loud, but I'm the sort of person that I actually, if I've got to get up at 10:30, I set 7 different alarms on my phone to wake me up. The aim is that one of them will actually do it.
Yeah. And Meg, I think that house, you're looking at the structure of the uh, rock around the well house where they built, that house was probably 100 years old. That was there one time ago. It might have got blowed down. It might have just fell
Well,
back.
it looks like it had a concrete base because if you remember the trash pile that they used to have, that big trash pile with all the concrete and that sort of area, that looks like where the house was. All the stone and that. Remember they used to have a patch of land that was all stone and rock and
Yeah, but that would have
that
put
sort
the
of area where they
well.
kept up.
That would have put the well. I think
Because that was down in the southwest corner of the property.
that would have been put the well a good little distance from the house. I think.
Not really, because that was literally on the southwest corner.
Okay.
And like I say, if you look at the house, where the footprint of where the house was. You can in 2003 image, you can actually see it's square. You can actually see the outline of it, and you can actually see where some of the walls were. And it's literally on there. There's a little extra bit that sort of like pokes out from behind it, and it goes over the boundary line into the new property.
Okay. Well, now, was that well was near the hunting place, wasn't it?
Yeah, near there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it could have got it. The weather could have took it out, or it might have just been a cheap built house years and years ago.
Well, it just got abandoned, but
Well, there was when they first bought the place, there was a building right there. That old brick building that was falling down.
yeah, that was the milking shed.
Yeah, I mean, one time it was an active farm there. I'm sure.
Yeah, and of course boundaries change quite a lot, so it's quite possible that
Yeah, the road might have the road back
the bit of
back
land they
then.
got first was just a part of it.
Yeah, there might have been a road coming from the other direction once upon a time somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, not their current driveway.
Well, they did say that the previous owner of the other property used when the creek bit got messed up, they used to come in through that road and follow the track down and cross to the other side of the creek on that property himself that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I like little puzzles like that. I love little puzzles like that.
Yeah.
Why is that well in the middle of nowhere? There must have been a reason for it.
It had supply something. But yeah, I would
I think it was that old house. That there was a house there, and that's what it was.
I mean, I don't know if he has a trash pump or not. But if he didn't, he could go borrow one without
Well,
even having to.
It's in a good spot. I mean, he's got a creek one side of that plot that goes all the way down the full length of it, and then the corner of the property where there is no other water supply, he's now got a well. It's working out nicely for him.
Yeah. Listen to that thunder.
I still haven't seen Eric.
That was a big boom right there. Well, Neil, I need to get off here. It's 10:30.
Oh, come on! You've only been on 3 hours.
Yeah, over 3 hours, I think. Yeah. I gotta try to. Yeah, I gotta get up in the morning.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it has. I'm glad you joined. I'm glad you joined me.
Well, I only popped in to see where you were because the live that I was waiting for didn't start, and yet you were live. So
That's all right. You're welcome anytime to jump in there. But
okay.
Yeah,
Let's.
I was glad to see Meg
5
and
people still here.
our newcomer Pixie. That's 6'9". I hope Pixie never wants to ride in the truck. 6'9". You'd have to slide your Velcro back because I have to open
You'd
the
have to open the
sunroof.
sunroof.
Yeah.
The last thing I want is to sit on the roof with a pixie between my legs.
Okay, we're going to end it with that. It was good to see Meg too, and Chris, and I don't know who else is still here. But if you're here, it was good seeing you. I'm glad you dropped in.
Oh, there's 6 here now, so you know.
Tammy might still be here. But God bless everybody. Y'all have a
Yeah,
y'all
it's been
stay
fun.
safe. Stay out of the bad weather.
Mhm.
If it keeps raining like this, I'm just gonna get up in the morning, walk outside, and
Everyone
take a
stay
shower.
safe. Everyone just stay safe. Don't worry about anything that you might want to do.
Yeah, I know that's what they say.
It's not worth chancing it, you know.
Yeah. God bless, and we'll see y'all later. Talk to
Okay.
you later, Neil.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.